It's the Mojo Show, episode number 22, second video edition. So if you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, you have yet another chance to check out a video podcast from us this week at mymojoyoga.com/episode 22. And this week we're featuring another one of our Mojo ambassadors, Sarah Crawford. She is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, inside of Mojo and outside of Mojo. I love Sarah Crawford, and I'm really excited to have her here with us on the show. And we're fortunate enough this week that she is actually here on Maui, where we live, so that she can come into the Mojo studio with us and sit and chat with us on the bolsters in the Mojo studio. So Scott and Sarah will be here for that chat in just a bit, and you'll get to hear all about Sarah and where she came from, how she got into yoga, and how she started her company Juniper and Sage, and where she intends to take that in the future. Sarah brings a wealth of knowledge to the Mojo member space with yoga targeted for CrossFitters and athletes, as well as some more ethereal practices that you'll hear us talk about in the show a little bit later. You'll see one of those as our free video of the week. Sarah really covers a nice spectrum of practices to help us all live a more conscious, healthy, and vibrant lifestyle. So I hope you enjoy this episode with Sarah Crawford. I'll be back with you at the end of the show. Welcome to the Mojo Show. I am Jean Marie.
Oh, was I supposed to talk?
That's our usual.
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's try that again. Take 2. Welcome to the Mojo Show. I am Jean Marie.
I'm still Scott Johnson.
And here with us we have Sarah Crawford. You may recognize her from our Mojo library. She is a wonderful feature of our Mojo member space. She kicks our asses on a regular basis.
On the reg.
Sarah Crawford is the founder of Juniper and Sage. She brings us yoga for CrossFitters and athletes, and she is a busy girl beyond all of those things, and we will get to all of that today with her. We're so stoked to have you here.
I'm stoked to be here. Very excited.
And we also have Yoda Nalu, of course. We should mention him here, sitting in front of us. This is our dog. There you go.
You may have heard him before on the podcast.
Yes, you have heard him. So this is our second video podcast.
It's so exciting. I can't wait to dead face the camera.
Yeah. We're really excited to be here in the Mojo studio and be doing a podcast. So if you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, you definitely want to check the video out at mymojoyoga.com/episode 22, because that's
22.
Woo-woo.
Yes, 22.
Almost as old as Sarah. No, wait.
Almost. I'm
Sarah's
23
almost.
now.
Oh, she's grown up. No stress.
Special age.
Special age. 23 is a great age. It was so long ago. I don't remember it.
Oh my God. So long ago.
Except
If we cut you in half,
I'm older than Sarah.
you're older than Sarah still.
Yeah.
Not by much, though.
No.
Well, that's great. Moving on. So I mentioned that Sarah brings us ass-kicking videos. She has, hands down, I think your videos are the hardest videos that we have in the library. Most challenging by far. Most ass-kicking, most core building, most strength building. I really love them because I'm an athlete at heart, and they're definitely geared towards athletes, but they're also appropriate for everyone. You know, we have our rest and recovery day. They're a great way for the average person who complains about not having strength to actually build strength. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, you know, how you got started teaching yoga, how you got into yoga, because I know that yoga wasn't your first choice.
No, it was not. Absolutely not. I was the girl that dissed every single person at yoga and made fun of it big time and said not so nice things about it. And it mostly came about as a bunch of people at my gym kept talking about how great hot yoga was, and I just always rolled my eyes and was like, it's not that great, guys. Go do CrossFit. That's good. And I got sick of people talking about it, and I just kind of did it to be like, okay, fine, I'll do it.
Prove it wrong.
Yeah, prove it wrong. This is really gonna suck. And it did suck. It was the worst thing I'd ever done in my life. And for some reason I kept going back, and I think it was because it was so challenging to me. I was a gymnast, so my body was super, in gymnastics we really train your good side, not your bad side. So I was extremely off balance, and doing the balancing postures I could do on one side but not the other, and it really pissed me off. So I was kind of going in there with like, I will show you yoga, I will beat you. And
I will
demolish you.
I will demolish yoga.
And it didn't work that way, but yes, that's
Yeah.
kind of how I got into it. And then I just kept going because I noticed it just made me feel very nice. And
Nice.
I hadn't really got into like the breathing or anything. It was just very gym yoga, so it was just a lot of exercise. I was using it more as recovery, and then I just kept going, and then I had to leave. I was teaching at a summer camp for a couple months and realized
Teaching.
I was like a counselor, so
Okay.
I guess I shouldn't say teaching. As a counselor at a summer camp. So I didn't get to do yoga for a couple months, and it killed me. And it wasn't so much the CrossFit and not working out that was killing me. It was not doing yoga.
Interesting.
Oh.
And I decided to do a teacher training kind of with the thought of like, okay, I really want to know how to do the postures with alignments and the muscles, and I'm going to go in and not do any of the woo-woo, those whole chakra things. We're not doing that. I'm not going to do crystals, like the chanting thing. It's like, oh, this is weird. I'm going to go just learn the postures, go learn the muscles, and that is it. And yeah, the teacher's like, all of you guys are going to cry. You're going to have this really, deep digging in with the teacher training, which you often do. And I laughed. I was like, yeah, bullshit. That's not going to happen. And I was the first to go. So,
First to go, Gooey.
first to go. Like within the first day, I was out.
That's hilarious. When did you start with gymnastics?
Gymnastics?
Gymnastics.
I think my parents put me in when I was 7.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I remember doing like handstand push-ups like in the room, and I saw a strong women's competition online, and I was like, oh, not online, on TV, and it's like, I want to do all that. So I was doing all these little things. My parents were like, maybe we should put her in gymnastics.
Okay.
Wow.
And I
And did you
stayed.
compete like regularly and stay with it
I did.
all the way up to what level?
Level 8. I went
Okay.
to regionals as a level 8 gymnast, and then at that point I was 18, and I did another year as a 19-year-old. I went super senior, and then my body was just done.
Yeah.
I trashed my back too bad, and I was like, I physically cannot do this anymore. It hurts so bad, which again
Wow.
is where yoga came in.
Yeah.
And now look at you on your little, what do you call those balancing sticks that you, with the
Canes.
the canes?
Yeah, hand balancing canes.
Yeah, that's impressive
Those
stuff
things
that you
are
do.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, as an adult, you can't do gymnastics, but you can still do circus and acro yoga. So it's a great supplement to ex-gymnast.
There you go. Outstanding.
Nice. So I know that you teach a lot of athletes and CrossFitters. Do you find that same resistance that you once
Yes.
had to getting them to do yoga? And how do
Absolutely.
you get them to appreciate yoga?
You got to bringing in the science part of it helps instead of keeping it very woo-woo. Kind of wanting another word for woo-woo, but hey, if you learn to do pranayama, if you learn to do breath practices, this increases your lung capacity. You increase your lung capacity, you can get a faster sprint because your lungs
work
can
quicker. Yeah.
take it better. Breathing is something really good. As athletes, they don't quite, not all of them, but many of them don't have that body connection. To be able to fix the tiny little things. I'll talk about CrossFit, so like a snatch or a deadlift or a back squat, realizing that the feet are a little bit off and you're rolling to the inside of your feet. And in yoga, we look at the feet all the time. You're looking at the ground, up. So
Right.
that we start in the feet. And if your feet are weak and you got one foot turned in, not the other, and you're going, oh, the snatch just isn't working. Why can't I put gains on it? And going back and looking, going, that's your feet. And they're like, no, it's not my feet. It's like, yes, it is. Go do a yoga class and pay attention to nothing
but your feet.
but your feet, and see what's off, and then put that into, your snatch. Like,
that's
that's
fun.
why one shoulder's off, because your
Yeah.
feet are effed up.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you can do that and get it in their brain that yoga is a supplement, you don't have to just go full on into it.
You don't have to get puffy pants.
Yeah, you don't have to get puffy pants. You don't have to.
Because the boys always wear those puffy knicker pants.
Or
you know?
diapers.
Or
Little
diapers.
Yeah, you don't have to put a diaper on to do yoga.
But it's fun.
But it's fun. Yeah, kinda.
No diapers. Not my kink.
No.
Okay. I don't know where to go from puffy pants.
I'm not sure either. So,
Cut. Edit.
if you take an athlete and say, I can help you get gains because you are plateauing, they will listen.
And yes.
In the CrossFit world, at
Yeah,
least.
exactly.
That's specifically what I work with. Is worked with gymnasts and CrossFitters.
To improve what they're doing already, using yoga as a supplement, just as a spiritual practice. It's done as a supplement to whatever it is that you believe in. It can be overwhelming and an all-encompassing thing for some people, and a lot of people get a lot of benefits from that. But I, like you, agree that a piece, a portion, on your plate of goodness in life, yoga is really tasty.
Yes.
But as a whole plateful,
Super
it can
tasty.
kind of get a little boring, overwhelming.
You want a nice mixture of vegetables and all kinds of fun stuff on
All
your
the
plate.
food group.
All the food groups, exactly.
All the food groups. Speaking of food, I know that you're going to school for...
Sister Segway slides in smoother.
Hey man, that was a good segue.
That was a fantastic segue.
Good segue. I know that you're going to school for nutrition. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Nutritional therapist. So I always like to say I'm going to be a holistic food doctor.
Nice.
Going a different route, a holistic route, other than the college level nutrition, which is, it's the government standards of this is what you do, this is what everybody does, low fat, high carb. You want to lose weight, cut your calories, exercise more. And that is absolutely not the case in holistic
Are they still doing
nutrition.
the food pyramid thing?
The kind of. They do the plate now.
Oh, that's
Plate.
right. My plate.
And it's a little bit different.
MyPlate.org.
What's supposed to be on your plate?
Wonder Bread.
Wonder bread, lean meat,
Peanut
some
butter.
green beans,
Green beans.
a little bit of fruit.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can eat as dessert every once in a while. It's like at the very top.
Okay.
Oils and sugar in extreme moderation.
I put lots of dessert on my plate.
It's local and organic. It's okay.
That's right. So, I just thought if it's gluten, we were talking about, we made brownies and then we made cookies, and both of them were gluten and dairy free, and we were like, well, it's healthy. We can eat as much as we want.
I was more like, it's here. I'm going to eat as much as I want.
So,
It's made with love.
Exactly.
exactly.
And love is not fattening.
No.
There's a good part of that. Yeah.
It makes you glow from the inside out.
You're glowing, Scott.
I'm glowing so much. I'm glowing so much my pants don't fit.
Oh.
I
Just
love
put
the
on puffy
holidays.
pants. You'll be fine.
So how does the school that you're attending differ from the national standard of the plate?
Very different. I'm going to Nutrition Therapy Institute, and it's based in Denver, and they do it all worldwide. I think they have a school in Japan also, and online. And it's different because we're looking at the person as a whole. So you're not just looking at what is it you're eating. You're looking, okay, what's your lifestyle? What is, your past? Like, do you have trauma in your past that might make you bring out some emotional eating? What's your upbringing? What's your specific individual thing? It's just like yoga. They teach it like yoga. You have to teach to the client.
Teach the person, the individual.
Teach the person individually and their full spectrum. Everything. How are you sleeping? The room that you sleep in, do you have blackout curtains? What kind of light? Do you work on a computer late at night? If so, you're probably getting bright lights, and that's messing with your melatonin. If your melatonin's messed up, you're not sleeping, and then you'll be eating more the next day. So we might back it up and not even fix a diet, but look at you and go, no, we need to fix your sleep.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
I love that. Very yogic.
Yes, very yogic.
Very-
It is working with the person as a whole, not picking it apart. And also, we're very big on, if you're fat, it is not your fault. It is nobody's fault that they're fat. And to say to someone, you're fat because you're lazy and you're a glutton is rude and it's wrong.
It's not helpful.
Yes.
It's not
Fix it.
helpful. It's how do we help you? What caused you to do this? And so often it's a hormonal imbalance. Like the fat itself, they're even starting to look at it and say it's a gland in itself because it produces its own hormones.
Yeah.
So if you start looking at fat as a gland instead of this blob of stuff that's just sitting there, that's bullshit because it's very metabolically active. Yes.
Active,
It
okay.
doesn't just sit there. It does stuff.
So, what are you looking to do when you're done with school?
when I finished with school, I'm also in another program for vibrational healing. So ideally,
You did pick up the crystals.
You
I did pick up the crystals like big time. And toning, like I am all about the toning now.
What is toning?
You're using sound to realign the vibrations of the body.
Using sound to realign the vibrations of the body. So what are you using to make the sounds?
Like tuning forks?
Tuning forks, crystal bowls or something, music.
10,000-year-old crystal bowls.
I don't think
Tibetan
so. I think they're
singing
like
bowls.
10 years old.
We did this yoga class one time, and the lady was very pretentious. She was a terrific class, but she busted out like Tibetan singing bowls, and
Yeah.
she's like, "These are 10,000-year-old Tibetan singing bowls." Like, the China made in China stickers on the bottom. Like,
Well, the technique could be that old.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could go
Yeah,
into a
totally.
yoga class and be like, this is 10,000 years old.
It was just our delivery was so good, we were snickering in the corner. It was so fantastic.
So are you looking to have a one-on-one practice with clients?
Absolutely. The long-term goal would be to have Juniper and Sage as my name, and then have clients come in and I will work with them wherever they need help. Vibrational healing, we also do a lot of core belief reprogramming. So it's taking the stuff that has been programmed into you as a society and also like as a child, you know, up until the age of 7, our brain waves are at a certain weight where it's a direct download. And an interesting way to release those is meditation, because you get back into that brainwave and you can reprogram stuff.
Interesting.
So that's really fun. So working with those.
Tell us about Juniper and Sage, how it got started. You mentioned it. So tell us where that came from, you know, what it is now, and then, of course,
Where you'd like
where
it to
you'd
go.
like it to go.
So right now it's pretty small. I'm mostly doing essential oil infused teas. So I have a special chai.
Chai tea.
It's very good.
It's tasty.
I love Sarah Crawford's. In all seriousness, I really love Sarah Crawford's chai tea.
It's amazing.
I
Really.
love it so much that Scott ordered, like, I don't know,
2 quarts.
2 giant
of dry-
quarts of chai tea, which I've demolished in like a month.
Less, yeah.
Less than a month.
In less than a month. Yeah, it's amazing. So, sorry, continue.
So I have those using the doTERRA essential oils, which is also vibrational healing. It's very high vibration. When you have disease in the body, it usually manifests from a very low frequency. Now we have our healthy frequency, and then when stuff gets below that, that's when disease and sickness starts to come out.
Interesting.
So essential oils are so high in vibration, they can help raise the vibration to get you healthy again.
How do they measure the vibrational frequency of oils and
That's what I was gonna
bodies?
say.
They have a machine that does it, and there's actually, maybe we could link it.
I
lost
the
it.
machine to measure
Oh.
the vibration of oils. I don't understand this.
I don't know how they do it, but there are machines out there that look at frequencies.
Interesting.
And
Like
I will,
oscilloscopes.
yeah, maybe we can put up
Is
a
it like-
link,
Yeah.
because there is a link out there that gives you all the vibrational frequencies of the essential oils
Okay.
and what to use them for. It's
Interesting.
really
Yeah,
fun
we'll
little
link
thing.
that up in the show notes.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I wonder if that's like measuring the frequency of plants. Is that how?
It's probably the same thing as oscilloscopes. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same.
Outside of my pay grade right now.
Yeah, me too.
Same way like they can do the heart, they can do the brain. I think
Oh.
you know you can measure those
EEGs.
frequencies and those waves.
Yeah.
I believe they're waves.
Interesting.
Energy is
Okay.
all waves.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All
Very
different frequencies
interesting.
of waves.
So you're doing the teas with the essential oils for Juniper and Sage right
Body
now.
butters.
And body butters. Oh yes, the
And
body butter
chapstick.
is amazing.
And the chapstick is also amazing.
Also amazing. So, how do people get those right now, or what's going on with Juniper and Sage right now?
So right now, you guys can get it. Unfortunately, I am on Maui, and
Unfortunately.
not unfortunately,
Said no one ever.
so me right now. I did not bring my business with me, so people can absolutely put in orders. Just be aware that it'll be January or February before I get back to Wyoming, where my business is at.
And do they
To be
do
able
that
to do
through
it.
your Facebook page?
We can do it through phone number, and we can also do it through my Facebook page. Yes,
Okay.
and that's all I have at the moment. There's not a website until I'm finished with school.
Okay.
Small scale. But
small skin.
do you see a plan to scale it to something large? Because
Absolutely.
the rest of your business model is one-on-one, but you see the product line being able to be scalable. You're measuring
Absolutely.
recipes down to like, so you can teach other people and prototype it out of.
And there's also, when I'm working with people, I'll be also selling my products to them, because one of the reasons how I got this started is I'm not sure what age, probably late teens, 18, 17, I realized I had very, very sensitive skin, was having extreme acne, had eczema popping up, and all these skin problems where I thought I had scabies just because I was so sensitive to everything. And realizing that the reason was that I was very sensitive to all sorts of chemicals, so I had to ditch my deodorant, my laundry soap, my shampoo, everything had to go. My laundry detergent was the big one.
Yeah.
And that helped clear up a lot of things. And I was like, well, I'm still really dry, I'm really itchy, I have very dry skin. So I was like, well, nothing out there meets my standards, nothing. In like all of my town, I couldn't find one thing that met my standards. So I'm like, well, I'll just make my own stuff.
There you go.
So I started doing that pretty young, and I was working at a health food store, and people with the same problems were always coming in and going, what do I use? I have such sensitive skin, I'm having problems. I'm like, well, what I make is what you should be doing. And they're like, great, do you sell it? I'm like, no, I don't, but I'll give you the recipe. So I kind of guided people just to do that. And even in like the nutrition school, we're taught everything that you put on your skin is a big organ and it absorbs everything. And it goes into your bloodstream, which is why essential oils are great, because they go into the bloodstream. But that's why, say, your Walmart brand body wash and lotion
goes in the bloodstream.
Also goes in, and it's worse than eating it because it doesn't go through all the
filtering,
cleansing, the filters.
right.
There's no filter, it just goes straight in there.
Yeah.
And that really hit for me when I had a really bad rash and I went to a dermatologist. And this was before I was fully holistic. No, I take that back. I had very bad acne, and I went to them. And I was reading the pamphlet, and they were saying like how this cream like made all these tumors and these rats and all this stuff. And I was like, so how does this stuff happen? And they're like, oh, because it like gets into your bloodstream. So I'm like,
why am I putting this on?
why
you?
did I put this on me?
Right.
And they're like, oh, it's fine. And I was like, I don't think
You're
it's
not going to
fine.
be putting that much or for that long.
Yeah, and I was
Right.
like, red flag, I don't like this. Come to find out, acne is actually a nutritional thing more than anything. Almost always.
Interesting.
It is. For all you people out there that want help with your skin, that are like desperate to just get help, and you keep putting all this crap on your skin, it is so often a nutrition thing. And we can get it to clear up with supplements, by healing the gut, by getting you off gluten, by getting you off dairy. Those are really big red flags to help flare your skin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's why we have such glorious
Why are you
skin.
looking at me? I'm clear.
We
It's
have
glowing.
glorious skin.
We do. Yeah. Salt water helps a lot too.
Salt water does help.
Get in the ocean.
And all of Juniper and Sage's products, for here and always, will always be edible. Like if you eat them by a spoon, they're not going to hurt you. They're not going to be great, but
It's not gonna taste.
it'll be fine. They're non-toxic, and that's my little slogan is pure, simple, and pono. And pono is our Hawaiian word for like doing things right. Doing the right thing. The stuff gets in the water, no problem.
Not killing the reef.
Not killing it. And I do jar returns. I give a discount for people when they bring back the jars. That helps out. I do my labels locally, so that helps out. Local
Environmentally
design.
friendly,
Yeah.
locally
They're
designed.
Labels are
not,
impressive.
unfortunately, they are not environmentally friendly
The labels.
yet.
Yeah.
But they were designed and printed by local companies.
Nice.
So
Outstanding.
Nice.
we're almost there. Almost.
Outstanding.
Yeah, you more than anyone I know and I've worked with have made dramatic improvements over time in your game, just in everything that you do, which is something that I know Scott saw in you from the very beginning. He was like,
From the
this
first
girl,
moment.
we have to work with this girl.
It worked out.
It was immediate.
Yeah, and so, when you sent me that first shipment of Juniper and Sage stuff, and I saw the labels and the packaging and the quality of the product, I was like, Oh my God, this is amazing.
It's real.
It's real, and it's awesome, and just the quality of what you do has just, it constantly improves. And I see that in your videos too, as well. You know, the videos that you bring for us in the Mojo Library, they have just dramatically improved over time, and it's awesome. So I know that you've worked really hard to improve, you know, what you do, and to learn more about teaching online and delivering what your knowledge to people online. What would you say to someone who might want to start teaching online and who maybe started from scratch, like I know you did? I know you started from bare bones.
Yeah, bare bones.
How would you advise somebody? What would you, how would you walk them through that process to say somebody who wanted to teach on Mojo?
First off, I'd say if you have like a gut feeling, like a serious drive to go do it, listen to that. Always listen to your gut. So if you're interested in doing it, then don't wait. Do it. Even if
Get started right away.
And with like my Juniper and Sage, I was not ready at all. People were taking orders, like giving me orders, like I want all this stuff. And I was like, I don't have a name or a business or anything. And they're like, that's okay. We just want your stuff. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing a business. Yeah, so you don't have to wait until you're ready to do it. If you just get it going, you can always be working on it.
Yeah, you'll never be ready.
You'll never be ready. Never. I'm still not ready, but I'm teaching.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So your success is inevitable at whatever level you want to achieve because of the beginner's mind, your dedication, your hard work, the way you follow your gut, the improvement that you're constantly making. What is that, like, not finish line, but what is that high water mark that you're shooting for now, and then why? What is what motivates you to drive to that finish? What is your underlying desire? What do you want to give to the world besides, taking care of yourself, I guess?
This is, I would say it's my passion. What drives me is I love it. It makes me happy, and it's what I'm good at. And in that sense, I'll always be able to help everybody else because I love doing it. This is not I'm giving it to everybody.
I give this to you.
That's so beautiful.
And doing what I love is going to help other people, inspire them.
Right.
And then also to get them healthy, to get them healing. And my thing isn't to fix you completely, it's to help you heal yourself. That's not my job.
Show you the road.
Yeah, I'm just showing you the road. I'm giving you the flashlight so you can get home.
Nice.
Oh, I love that.
So again, how are you measuring where you are in your success? Keep track of, and what is your next couple landmarks, goalposts that you want to achieve?
I have a couple. So I do it often like month goals, and about every 6 months I'll take a little just sticky note or like a little piece of note paper and write down some big thing that I want each month. Like by this needs to be accomplished. By this I want business cards. By the end of this year I want a website. So I do those little parts, and those are little stepping stones. And the long-term goal is to have my own holistic healing center. That's to my standards. I said so much of the stuff out there is not to my standards. Yeah. Or they go almost there, but then you realize they're importing stuff from China, or it's a holistic healing center, but you find out they're bringing crap food in and be like, here, just follow the food pyramid. It's like no. You need to be working with these people individually. So that is the long-term goal, is to have a healing center, preferably on Maui, just because this is such a healing, beautiful place. But we'll see. And
outstanding.
Yeah.
So you have a plan to prototype your teachings in your style to breed a cadre of Juniper and Sage instructors? Yes. Outstanding.
Very, I try not to look actually past about 10 years, because after that I'm like, I have no clue, especially with the way my life ended up taking me. I was like, I didn't know that was going to happen.
10 years at 23 is huge.
Yeah, that is huge.
I look at 10 minutes at 23.
Yeah, so I struggle with 10 years at 32. So yeah.
Step one is just finish school. That is number one, and that'll take another couple of years. That's where my focus is at, is finish school and do a decent job at it.
Outstanding.
Not spread myself too thin.
Yeah,
nice.
I think you're doing well with that.
I do too.
Certainly seems like it.
We were talking when you first got here. Did I do a John?
I'm just so jealous that I wanted to. Both these beautiful women over here fixing their hair. And
I just did it because you did it.
Stare lovingly into the camera.
So Sarah, stop it.
Let me do mine now. That's mine.
We should do Yoga's business part next time.
No. Don't disturb the sleeping.
Yeah. So we were talking when you first got here to the studio, to our house and the studio, about some interesting practices that you do regularly now to help you reach those goals that you set for yourself. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Jean Marie and Scott talk about the 5-minute journal, and
Your
it is
5-minute
actually
journal.
quite awesome.
Insert here.
Yes.
5-minute journal.
We had it. I do that in kind of my own way, and I was super stoked that you guys were mentioning it all the time. I was like, I really need to get into this, and I went back and I didn't have a credit card at the moment to order it online. I don't like credit cards, so I was like, well,
Brilliant.
Yeah, good.
how do I do this? So I'll just go online and copy it. And come to find out, I've actually been doing it for like a year and a half or something.
On your
Nice.
own.
And it was mentioned in a Bulletproof podcast, another podcast, and I wrote down everything. I was like, that's a great idea. So I've been doing it since then. I just didn't know it's the 5-minute
Nice.
journal.
Bulletproof podcast is fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic. It is my happy place.
Yeah.
Love
Your
listening.
favorite?
Okay.
It's my favorite. Some people like sitcoms. I like the Bulletproof podcast.
Nice.
Yeah. I feel that way about like Tim Ferriss and
Yeah,
you know.
super.
And Wait,
super
Don't Tell
wonderful
Me.
stuff.
Yeah. So what's your journaling practice like now? I know it's shifted a little bit.
Mhm. It's always evolving, so definitely don't ever get attached to one thing, because in my opinion, as soon as it starts to be a chore and you're just doing it to do the chore, that's when it needs to go. It needs to be nixed.
Nice.
So
I agree.
I
Yeah.
struggle with that a lot. I will stick with something to the bitter end. So
Yes.
I always try to keep an eye out on that too.
I've learned it in sports and nutrition, all sorts of things. If it's not working for you anymore, something, you need to evolve your diet, you need to evolve your workout, your yoga routine with what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
So for mine right now, I didn't enjoy doing it in the morning or in the evenings because it felt like a chore, and then I'd avoid it, and then I'd wait like, oh, I still can't leave the house until I do this, but I'd go do something else because I didn't want to do it, and I was like, I really need to get this done, and I was like, no. So what I do instead is, actually, I hold crystals. I've been told that they have the ability to be able to like take in your intentions and intensify them. I can't get the science of that yet, so
She
someday.
totally took on the crystals.
I took on the crystals.
Maybe hard to find the science in that.
So I hold one that is for like manifesting intentions before I go to bed, and I hold it in my hand, my left hand. Something about the left hand, I don't know.
Is that for
And
everybody?
I think so. I believe this is what the crystal books told me.
What
so
the
I'd say
crystal
yes.
people say.
What the crystal people say. Hold it in your left hand, not your right. And I visualize my intentions, and I say them. Sometimes it's mantras, not very often. I don't find mantras very helpful, like Scott. Like they just don't vibe with me anymore.
Yeah.
So visualizing what it is that I'm trying to think about. You know, for me, it's getting school done effectively and efficiently. It's this particular job that I want. It's manifesting a certain amount of money so I'm comfortable. You know, little things like that. And then when I wake up in the morning, I stay in bed for an extra about 15 minutes and just wait until I'm in a happy mood before I get out of bed. It's, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. I'm one of those people, I wake up very rarely in like a good mood. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's morning. So I have to get myself in a good mood. And that's how I do it, is sit there or lay there until you're happy. And then you get out of bed. Then you can get out. And if
Yeah. I don't know about any science behind crystals and putting your intentions in crystals, though I do think that if something like that feels good to you and feels
Yes.
right, that's all that matters. Whether somebody can put science on it or not, it doesn't matter. If that feels good to you and that is what keeps you going and it keeps you setting intentions and setting goals for yourself, do it. And what I do know is that there is science behind visualization, which is what you were talking about.
Huge.
when we visualize something in our brains, and athletes are very familiar with this, when you visualize, say, the game that you have coming up or the routine that you're going to do, and you run through it in your mind can't tell the difference between the visualization and actually doing it. Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of strong science behind the power of visualization to get things done.
Extremely.
It's like a religion. You don't need a religion to tell you to be a decent person, but all religions tell you to be a decent person.
Right.
So whatever way that helps you get to being a decent person, and as long as you're not like bashing other people in the head with it,
please,
it works. Offer it out. Hey, these are my crystals. This is what works for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it works for you. Try it. Give me some feedback. Share what you do. I'll share what I do, and we can both improve. And rising tide lifts all boats. I'm supportive. If you want to come talk to me, do you have time to speak about our Lord and Savior CP3O? Probably listen to that one, but. No.
If Ewoks come knock on your door and want to talk about C-3PO, yeah, of course
I'll let them in. They're cute. Bounce them on my knee, scratch them under the underarm, see if they're ticklish.
Yeah, I think it's really important to find something that you resonate with that really gets you going. Like, I love the 5-minute journal. I still love it. I've been doing it's my most consistent journal practice that I've been able to do because it's short, compact, and very much catered to my 9 means 9 lines and everything, all of that with my personality. So I really love it. I love what you're doing. That sounds amazing. I like crystals. I actually just don't like the sort of dogmatic culture that can come with them of like, agree. This crystal means this and you must do it in this way, and any sort of dogmatic culture like that really turns me off.
In any fashion.
Yeah, but sure. I love crystals. I used to have this whole rock collection, and I love how stones feel and really playing with them. I think that's amazing. So.
I love feeling stoned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing, right?
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yoda's there.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Something I do find interesting is you always look at kids for inspiration. Like, how do they live their lives in many ways? And that's before we have all of our core beliefs programmed into our subconscious mind that drive us around. And they're all so fascinated by crystals. What is it? They're cute, cuddly animals. It's the flowers. It's running around. It's playing. It's kisses and hugs with mom and dad. And crystals, like every little kid is out there picking out rocks.
Oh, yeah.
And they love it. And I was such a rock kid.
Yeah, me too.
Like, we would go camping and stuff, and we would load the back of the trailer with a bunch of rocks.
Take
and my dad would be like, "Get them off." And he'd put them back. I'm like, "Dad, they're pretty.
They're pretty rocks.
They're pretty rocks."
There's the beach the same way. Shells and rocks.
Yeah, shells
kind
and
of
rocks.
cool stuff for sure.
So I do think there's something in their little minds that they're aware that those are special.
50 pounds overweight at one point in my life, and my first workout routine is actually what I did to drop it was nutrition, portion control mostly for me at the time, and then because I was a volume eater, and then workout. And my first working out back into that scene was going out and playing like I was 5-6 years old. So I was looking for trees to climb in, under, and around, and bushes to get up and over, and climb up over walls and jump off of this and that kind of stuff. And that took me from 50 pounds overweight and hardly able to, it was 2 breaths to tie my shoes. 2 to 3 breaths. To tie my shoes. And within a month or two, I did a marathon. Wow. An impromptu weekday. We go out for a couple mile run with a friend, and we're like, oh, that was good, let's keep going. Oh, that was good, let's keep going. Oh, that was good, let's keep going. How far have we gone? Oh, let's just do a marathon. And we did a marathon and then went to work. It was a blast. Yeah.
Nice.
So that same thing, the child mind.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't noticed,
you do a really good job with that, babe.
I have a very childish mind.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah. And a happy baby body.
Yes. So, speaking of nutrition, I want to know sort of your top tips for staying in a happy baby place with our nutrition, because it's so hard.
It's
I mean,
so
we're
hard.
busy, you know, it's hard for us to keep everything balanced and, you know, make a very balanced plate for ourselves. So,
Yeah.
you know, what would you say to people as, you know, just the top things that you really want to make
The
sure
general
you hit?
things that you would
General
apply
things.
to your very specific, personalized, holistic approach to healing people.
Yes.
Meditate. And I would actually, most of my clients, I think I'd have them start out with meditation and get into know their bodies. Most people don't have, well, I shouldn't say most, a lot of people, they get stuck on like, well, what do I eat? I can't tell what my body wants, what my body needs. And I used to be that same way. I struggled with a lot of eating disorders, so I was really, really fucked up. And to regain that was a lot through yoga and learning, what does my body want? What does it need? So you got to start with mindfulness, in my opinion. Stopping
Right.
before your meals, taking a couple deep breaths. If you're eating fast food, suddenly when you're taking deep breaths and you're really noticing it and looking at it, you're like, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will notice that if you take the time
And to stop and breathe.
to stop and breathe.
Yeah.
Nice.
So mindfulness, definitely some of that. Drink water. So many people don't drink enough water.
How much water should we drink?
I believe
Is
it is half, so it's your body weight in ounces, halved in ounces. For a lot of people, it's just 8 cups a day is pretty good. Unless you're like an athlete, then you need to be drinking more. But I believe that's the general guidelines, is you take your body weight in ounces, you take your body weight and then you
Cut
have
it
it
in half in that many ounces.
in that many ounces.
Okay.
So that
But if
just
you're like
means
really lightweight, get 8 ounces.
I
or
just
It
eight
means like
cups.
40 ounces
15,
for you.
15 ounces
Yeah.
for me because I'm super thin, lithe.
You pronounced that correctly, I think.
I learned it last episode.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, at least no one told us
progressing.
that we said it wrong, so that's good.
Whatever.
So
Do what I
meditate, be mindful when you're eating of how your food makes you feel, and drink lots of water.
Can I
And
go
juniper
on?
and sage
You can go on.
chai tea.
Okay.
Please enlighten us.
I would say gluten. Like gluten is get rid of wheat. Maybe not specifically gluten, but wheat's got so many problems and so many people have problems with it that it's worth just nixing.
Where do you think that comes from?
It comes from, our wheat isn't the same that it used to be. So when people say, well, we've been eating it for thousands of years, the wheat that we've had within the last 100 to 50 years has been really, really altered. So it's not the same that it used to be. You can get something called, I believe it's inkhorn wheat, which is heirloom grain. It's very unmessed with. It's not GMO yet. They haven't bred it to be something that it's not naturally. That's where a lot of the problems come, is we're crossbreeding wheat, or they've been crossbred. And just when you crossbreed them, they develop new genes.
Right.
And it's those new genes are causing problems within us. They're not as easily digestible, and they're a little bit different. They're a little bit higher in something called, I can't remember the name, so I'm not going to try. But they're very, very quickly broken down. And if you look at the glycemic index of like a tablespoon of wheat and a tablespoon of sugar, guess which one's higher?
Wheat.
Wheat.
Wow.
Because
I could
it's
tell by the way you
pure-
asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're smart, Scott.
Yeah.
And you can go on to like I don't know if it's like the diabetics online website or whatever for the glycemic index, and pieces of bread has a higher index than a Snickers bar.
Whoa.
Google glycemic index.
Google glycemic index.
We'll
of
put a link
foods.
to it in the show notes. How about that?
Yeah. Find allergy foods. There's a wonderful diet out there by J.J. Virgin, and it's the lose 7 pounds in 7 days or something, but it's an elimination diet, and it's taken out the 7 most inflammatory allergenic foods. So it's like eggs, wheat, dairy, soybeans, peanuts, corn, and something else. There's a 7th one in there.
That was.
That was?
Was that?
Oh, I was naming this as
Oh.
a note.
I just counted her fingers.
Yeah, this one we don't know yet.
This one we don't know.
How interesting. That's actually how we kind of got into the gluten and dairy-free diet. We, in preparation for a teacher training, did a mono diet for, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Just like beans and rice. Very, very plain diet for, I think we did, what was it that we made?
Kitchery?
No,
Kitchery?
it wasn't Kitchery at the time.
Oh,
We
it
did
wasn't
beans and
Kitchery at
rice.
the
We did
time.
pinto beans and brown rice.
We did as
For 2
plain
weeks.
as we could do for
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Scott lost
3 pant sizes
Yeah,
in about a week. And then we went and had breakfast coming out of it, and it immediately came back.
Yeah,
One
we
meal.
had bread and butter
Cheese
and all
and
of
bread.
the stuff in the breakfast, and immediately he blew back up.
I used to wake up every morning and sneeze for 15 minutes straight and rubbed my nose clean off my face and had just like explosive times in the bathroom. And Gene moved in and was like, "Is this normal?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course it's normal. Everybody does this." I had no idea that it wasn't
I
normal.
think we need to go to the doctor.
This is every day.
Yeah,
And
very
then we found
common
out that-
actually.
yeah,
Very
it's
common.
very common. There's a couple. Tom Segura, a stand-up comedian, does a terrific bit about explosive diarrhea from his. You're like, what? I don't need. Yeah.
I'll put that on the blog. It's worthwhile.
Please, yes.
It's so
The Tom
funny.
Segura is fantastic. So we did the mono diet, and it took me still probably 2 years before I could really say that I was over it. Like I'd moved on to the next bit where I didn't have to think or try to stay away from it. And I will still go to dinner at somebody's house and be respectful and have a little bit and pay for it for a couple days. But my day-to-day diet is it's super easy. And once you get away from it, cheese is, my diet was bread, meat, and cheese.
Oh yeah.
And there was vegetables on the side to flavor the bread, meat, and cheese.
Add a little splash of color.
Little relish.
I got
It's a vegetable.
relish is
It's a tomato.
supposed to have a colorful plate: ketchup, mustard, relish, red, yellow, green. What else do you need, right?
4 hot dogs.
4 hot dogs. Just 4. It's diet, I like the way I put I like to tell this story because the way I put 50 pounds on, I was in a very stressful situation, but I would have breakfast at home, and I was training 2.5 hours a day, plus surfing. I was working out a lot, but I'd have breakfast at home with my family. I'd get in my car to go on my day's work. There was a Jack in the Box on the on-ramp, and I would get a bacon cheeseburger, curly fries, and a medium root beer. I'd drive 45 minutes to my office, get off the off-ramp at the office. There was another Jack in the Box. I'd hit another
Oh my god.
bacon cheeseburger, curly fries, and root beer. Do my work day, hit that Jack in the Box on the way out of town, same thing. Get off of the freeway at home, same thing. And then go home and have dinner and dessert with my family. I put 50 pounds on in 3 months. It was insane how fast you could put that stuff on.
Wow.
Did you have a hard time? Did you feel like you always needed that food? Did it feel?
I didn't feel like ever that I needed it.
Okay.
Not once did I feel like I need to have that. It was just Jack in the Box. Bacon cheeseburger, curly fries, and root beer. That was good. I'll have another one.
It made you happy.
It didn't make me happy at all, but it does. What I did notice is that there's from my interaction with the gluten and the dairy is it becomes an insatiable appetite. So I never
Yes.
feel full. I never felt. I always felt still hungry. Oh, I'm hungry. I'll get this meal, and then I eat that. I'm like, I'm still hungry. I need another one. I'll just eat another one, and I'll eat another one until it's coming out both ends because there's no place in the middle to put anything left. And then I was like, oh, I guess I'm satisfied. 10 minutes later, same thing.
Very common.
Yeah, very common. Especially you top it off with a beer.
Yeah.
That used to be my breakfast routine at restaurants. And when Gene and I first
yes.
met it, when the waitress said, can I get you something started to drink? I'd like water, coffee, juice, and beer. And that was and I'd go right down the line, drink back and forth, and eat that with my breakfast. And now it's juniper and sage chai tea. And layered superfood creamer TM.
Mine's local Maui coffee.
What?
Oh.
Nice. I like it. Where do you get your local Maui coffee from?
From Olinda Farms. She's just up Olinda Road here on Makawao, Maui, and
Makawao.
she is lovely. That company. I'm a coffee snob. The way some people do wine, that's me in coffee. I am so into all the little different flavors and little
Nice.
taste. Swish it around.
How do you prepare your coffee?
Usually I do a bulletproof coffee.
Do you have French press? Do you grind and drip?
press.
Okay.
I do a French press, and then I mix some grass-fed butter.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's Kerrygold butter, It's from Ireland. Some
Ooh.
cows are happy in Ireland. And
Not in California.
not in California.
Ireland.
They're not happy in California.
Okay.
And also some coconut oil or some MCT oil, which is like the good fat in coconut oil, like really concentrated down, kind of like fish oil.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Not like, not anything in flavor, just like you're taking the fish and you concentrate the good stuff down into fish oil.
Are you particular about the temperature of your water when you make your coffee?
No, I
Do you just boil and let it sit?
Yeah,
Or just boil and
boil
straight go to it?
Yeah.
Outstanding. I know, like Tim Ferriss gets very specific on tea temperatures. He actually, when he's coaching, it brings it down to more realistic. Boil it, let it sit for a minute while you're preparing your tea, then mix it. It's about the right temperature because it's very specific temperatures you want it to get to release certain things and not burn certain things. And that's a little beyond my ability to incorporate in my day at this point.
I do it
It's
with
a little
tea.
too much on my plate. You do?
I don't do it with coffee, but I do that with my tea. I let it sit until it's not boiling anymore.
Yeah.
Usually take it off the stove,
Yeah.
you know, get your stuff ready and then put it in. I'm not sure why I do that, but I know I've read it. So I started doing it and it's just stuck.
That's what you're supposed to do
That's what you're supposed to do.
because they...
Because they said so. Oh, cool. Well, I think that we've taken enough of your time today, Sarah Crawford. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, and we're going to have plenty of time to hang out with you. I think you're going to be on Maui for a little while.
Yeah.
Undetermined amounts of time.
One-way ticket with the undetermined amount of time.
Outstanding.
Love it. I love it. So we're featuring a couple of classes from you this week. Our free practice of the week on the blog is going to be our emotional freedom technique practice with you, which is a wonderful tutorial. It's one of those things, just like the crystals, that can be that can be a total woo-woo thing.
That's the tapping one.
It's the tapping one.
I love the tapping.
Yes. It can be total woo-woo, or it can be very practical and helpful, and you present those things in such a very practical and helpful way, and I really appreciate that.
It's Practawoo.
It's Practawoo! So we're going to feature that for you guys on the blog this week.
Woohooical.
What?
Woohooical.
Oh,
Woohooical.
woohooical. Yes. We'll feature that woohooical practice on the blog this week. You can check that out at mymojoyoga.com/episode 22 or below, or actually above. If you're watching this on the blog, it'll be right above us. Do you guys feel that? It's above us. And for our members this week in the Mojo Member Space, we're featuring your plank practice from our Fun with Yoga Challenge, because that is one of my favorite ass kickers. I love that one so much.
I had fun filming that one, yeah.
Oh, that was very obvious. I was like, oh God, Sarah's in her wheelhouse.
I'm in my
right
happy
now.
spot.
Yeah. So for all you Mojo members out there, as soon as you log in, it'll be right at the top of your member homepage, and you can check that out this week. Actually, it'll always be there for members, but it's right at the top of your homepage this week.
Yes.
For the free video this week with the EFT, I will mention some people really vibe with it and they absolutely love EFT, which is tapping. And other people don't, and they don't like it and it doesn't work. And so try it out and see if you like it, and it might work really well for you, or it might not. It just kind of depends on your body and your style.
And a little tip for you, if it doesn't, don't do it.
Yes. Don't force it.
And if it does, do
it.
And don't force it.
Yeah, that's actually what I really like. That's sort of why I picked those two videos. That's sort of the spectrum of Sarah Crawford's teachings. You know, the energetic and the sort of more ethereal practice on the one hand, and then the very, athletic, earthy, grounded practice on the other hand. So I think in either one of those practices, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on The Bolsters. Scott and Jean. I really want to do this like Between Two Ferns, people. So if you have some feedback, vote for Between Two Ferns style.
Yeah,
Send
I
it in to
nixed that.
Jean. We'd
I
like to.
nixed that. That was not happening this week.
We could be between two dorks. We could put her in the middle and just like. Because I feel silly on camera.
Oh my God. Okay, well that's it for this week's show. Let's get out of here before it gets crazy.
Bye.
Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week. All right, Mojo Mob, that's it for episode 22 of The Mojo Show. If you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, be sure to head on over to the show notes at mymojoyoga.com/episode 22 to find links to pretty much everything that we mentioned in the show, and of course to see this week's video podcast. If you're already here on the video podcast, we thank you for checking it out. We really welcome your feedback. If you have any tips or suggestions, or if you'd like to see more video podcasts, please let us know in the comments below. Just scroll all the way down and let us know what you think. We want to hear from you. If you want more of these, we'll be happy to give them to you. If you want less of them, we'll take them away. So thank you so much for checking this out. And while you're on the blog, of course, we hope you'll check out our free video of the week, Sarah Crawford's Emotional Freedom Technique Practice, abbreviated to EFT. And that's, of course, the tapping technique. And if you're confused about what that might mean, just watch the video. Sarah gives a really nice down-to-earth explanation of it and how it can help us navigate our daily lives. And Mojo members, be sure to head on over to your member space to check out our featured practice of the week with Sarah Crawford, her plank challenge video, which is an ass kicker of a video. I think we've mentioned that Sarah's a bit of an ass kicker a few times in this episode, and that's because we mean it. So head on over to your member space. As soon as you log in, you'll see it right there at the top of your member homepage. And as always, if you're stoked on the Mojo Show, be sure to head on over to iTunes or Stitcher to leave us a love note in the reviews and subscribe to the show. The more you subscribe to the show and the more reviews that we get, the more the show grows and the more our community grows. Our Mojo Mob community will grow. So thanks so much again for listening this week or watching us here on the blog. We'll be back with you next week with a bonanza of gifts from Mojo Yoga to you. So be sure to come back and check that out next week. Until next time, keep your mojo working.